How do you say in French, if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
In French, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay.
All right? We'll cut that one out.
Coming up next on Rugby Wrap-Up, Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis on the Americas Rugby Championship.
Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by Irish Rugby Tours, the Rugby Tours people. A balanced palate, nutrition for peak performance. And the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street, the world's best rugby pub.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 in Midtown Manhattan, talking rugby. And Steven, we're talking Six Nations on our side of the pond, the Americas Rugby Championship. Welcome.
Last week, Alex Corbacero sat in that chair, and we talked about how USA Rugby avoided a catastrophe by holding on versus Brazil. And thanks to our friends at Americas Rugby News, we knew that Uruguay was coming loaded for bear. They were going to have 9 Major League players back. They were going to have Lamana back. And we had worries about USA against Uruguay. And unfortunately, those worries came to fruition.
They did indeed. Yeah, so not warning bells or alarm bells need to be ring, but I think the manner of the performance this week. So we've now had, 3, I would say, average performances between Argentina 15 and doing enough to win against Brazil, and then losing at home to Uruguay should not be on the cards for this American team. A lot of possession kicked away, some poor choices in terms of decision-making.
Fixable mistakes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they just didn't play to their potential. So yeah, it's not comfortable, not what you're looking for, and they got Canada at home next week. They really need to rebound, finish this competition with a dominant performance, put away the noisy northern neighbours or the quiet northern neighbours, and just get a little bit of momentum back before the summer series.
Yeah, it will be an interesting match because it's up at Seattle again at Starfire.
Again.
Right? And you've got some teammates going against each other. You got Phil Mack playing for Canada. He's going against Ali Khalifi of Team USA. And both of those teams need a win. I think USA is going to win. But, should American fans be worried about things? Because it's not so rosy right now. We were on the front foot. We were doing great. And then the ARC happened.
Yeah, so 2018 was the annus mirabilis, right, for American rugby. Few missteps on the way this year. Hard to maintain that level of performance and those results going into this year. But certainly Gary Gold won't be particularly enthused about the last couple of performances. So, as I said, they need to right the ship, finish off here this particular block with a good win, and then, set it aside and come on to those summer tests, which will be built towards the World Cup.
On a positive note, Joe Taufete getting a hat trick as a hooker. And usually when a hooker gets a hat trick, you'd think your team would win. But they didn't get the win, but the positive is that Joe got the hat trick. He's now the all-time hooker try-scoring leader in World Rugby. He surpassed Keith Wood.
Yeah, team sport, but still a terrific personal accomplishment for him.
Right. All right, so Canada lost to Argentina. We expected that. Canada, though, showed some grit. They were down 22-6, but they were in front of a home crowd in British Columbia and Langford. 22-6 at halftime. They made it 22-20, and then the wheels kind of came off. But they did show some grit coming back, so I think this match against Team USA will be a little bit more tense than.
Well, they're going to be up for it because this makes for this particular block for Canada. This is the game. Again, the rivalry thing. In addition to making a statement prior to going on a break, so Canada, in many ways, are going to benefit most from MLR. American teams, because there's so many more American players, there will be a bigger pool of American players to draw from. But I think in terms of the performance of the national team, it's cohesion. If you have the majority or the bulk of your team playing for one team week in, week out, Toronto, that is going to help them with their national team. So I think both countries are going to benefit in slightly different ways from the MLR.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring that up because that's one thing that Nigel Melville the then CEO of USA Rugby was concerned about with Pro Rugby USA coming in, the league that you were involved with, was that it was just going to build one Canadian team. So he felt like, I think if they wanted to come in, they'd come in with 2 teams. But they did eliminate the border, which you have Canadian players, key Canadian players playing on American teams here in the MLL. Our American side of the border, right? All right, so Brazil held on versus Chile in a tighter match than we anticipated, or I anticipated, but they held on. And now we've got on the docket the final weekend, you've got Argentina going to Chile. That's going to be an easy one for the Argentine 15s.
Should be.
Right? Then you got USA hosting Canada. We discussed that. And you got Brazil locking horns with Uruguay, who is their highest rank ever in World Rugby. They're 16th. Plus, if they beat Brazil in this match, they're going to be second in the ARCs, which is also the highest for them. They're doing well, Los Teros.
Los Teros, indeed. Yes, they are.
Are you getting a tattoo? Did you get any tattoos while you were in Vegas?
No.
No.
I love Scotland. I love Mum. That's about the extent of it.
No hangover
No.
type tattoos. You have all your teeth, and no Maori tattoos. All right. And on that note, Mr. Steve Lewis and Matt McCarthy talking rugby at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 in New York City, signing off.